includes diameter of the rotor, number of blades, blade profile, blade chord length. So I think till here we have completed. In the last session, diameter of rotor we have seen, choice on number of blades. So there are 3 blade, 4 blade, 2 blade system. Okay, so for power generation we are going for high speed, low torque. That means low TSR. It means 3 blade system generally we are going for power generation. Okay, then blade profile and material we have seen. Okay, so thickness of the blade is not thickness is same, but dimensions are not same for the blade of a rotor from its central to the outer tip, but it is varying. It is as per the aerofoil design. It is to minimize the or equal distribution of the stress on the area of the blade and less chances of breakage. Then we have seen that various materials like fiberglass, epoxy, composites, etc., or metallic blades are used depending upon its application. Okay, and we are stalling the turbine at a high speed so that the blades should not get break and system should not get collapsed. So in case of a stormy conditions where wind speed is very high, we are purposely locking the blades so that it will not respond to the incoming wind. Okay, now blade chord. So chord is the maximum length of a blade from its center to the outer tip. Okay, so that we have seen. So torque developed should remain equal, right, and to the desired value. So this we have seen. So choice of the pitch angle is one of the factor which decides the blade chord. Okay, pitch angle is the twist given to the blade. So we are going to perform one experiment on the pitch angle control and efficiency of the wind turbine with the change in the pitch angle also. Okay, so this we have seen last time. Twist angle if changes, then its effect. Okay, how the twist is given to the blade. So twist angle is different at the central. Here the twist angle is different and here the twist angle is different. So it is measured with respect to the chord line, which is the center line of the blade. Okay, so this alpha is the twist angle. Okay, pitch angle, and beta is the twist angle. Alpha is the pitch angle, beta is the twist angle. Now let us come to the next point, which is a tower height. So tower height is one of the important factor. As you know, once we design the length of the blade or chord of the blade, then you have to consider the diameter of the rotor, overall diameter of the rotor along with the blades. So your horizontal axis wind turbine should be of that height. And just one second. हा, तर ती बॅटरी तिकडे द्यायची आहे वॉचमॅन कडे. तो 3 ते 4 मध्ये येऊन घेऊन जाईल. बॅटरी पाठवून द्या वॉचमॅन कडे. त्याला की फोन करायला सांगा, मग पाठवता येईल बॅटरी. तसं चालेल. हो चालेल. किंवा मग संदीप बापट म्हणून येणारे मुलगा, त्याला ती बॅटरी द्यायची. असं सांगून पाठवली तरी चालेल. विचारते मी 3 वाजता. हॅलो. Ha, we'll continue with the tower height. So tower height should be sufficient to so that your rotor should be rotating easily above the ground level. Okay. So for horizontal axis wind turbine, tower supports the whole machinery, including blade, gearbox. This we already have studied when we have seen the difference between the HAWT and VAWT, right? Okay, all the assembly is on the top of the tower in case of horizontal axis wind turbine. Therefore, we need to be a very strong structure for a tower, right? Because it should bear that much amount of weight, as well the stress developed when your rotor is rotating. So here all assembly, control equipment, everything is on the top of the tower, and hence it requires high strength. This can be achieved with a steel or a concrete structure. Therefore, when we are going at the remote location, or say you might have seen the Suzlon wind power generation. So either the tower is of steel material or a concrete structure which is very strong. It is necessary to avoid amplification of vibrations through careful design of the resonant frequency. Yeah, you know that if the resonance is there, the natural frequency of vibration is matching, with the frequency of the system, then there is a cause of a resonance. So with the when there is a presence of resonance, the frequency gets doubled. Okay, this application I just want to revise. You have studied in physics during your 11th, 12th, or first year of engineering, where you have a what tongue, what you have there, fork. Which fork is there? You are making a sound and holding it on a capillary tube. So when the frequency matches, then the liquid inside the tube vibrates with the double frequency and you can hear that noise, right? So same resonance occurs everywhere whenever there is a frequency. So we have to design the tower in such a way that there should not be occurrence of a resonance. Otherwise, again, your structure should be more strong. Okay. So while designing, we have to take care of it. So if we consider the height, generally for medium and large turbine, the height of the tower is slightly greater than the rotor diameter, because the rotor should be able to rotate without any harm. Okay, it should not touch to the ground. It should be pretty above the ground level. That care we have to take. But small turbine should have taller tower in comparison with the rotor diameter. Otherwise, turbine would be too close to the ground surface and it will get poor in speed. If it is near the ground level, then wind received will also be less. Okay, so rotational speed will be less, and we want rotational speed for better power efficiency. Okay, so approximately turbines with a 10 kW and 100 kW rating, we have 20 to 30 meter of tower height. Okay, so see, I have shown you one picture since 1990. So depending upon the rating also, the height of the tower changes. So recently for a 10 megawatt generation, 145 meter is the largest height for the horizontal axis wind turbine. Now transmission system and the gearbox. So all this assembly is required because wind speed is not in our hand. It is going to get vary always. So we can adjust the speed with the help of a gear ratio. Okay. So with the help of gearing assembly, we can maintain some speed and accordingly we can generate. So the diagram is very simple. This is a rotor with a two blade system is shown. It will rotate. It is a main bearing. Okay, so it will rotate with the help of natural air. I mean, natural air will drive this rotor and there will be rotational power available at the shaft. So there is a gearbox. Depending upon the selection of a gear, the speed will get vary. Okay, and we can get the speed change with the help of gearbox, and that we are connecting to the turbine. Okay, which will generate the electrical power at the output. So speed of the electrical generator is much higher than the speed of a wind turbine, right? So we have to give that much amount of speed to the generator so that it will give us the output power. Therefore, we need to amplify the speed that we have received from the natural air. Therefore, gearbox is inserted in the transmission system. As wind speed varies from low to high, the gear ratio is also not fixed, but gear ratio varies. If wind speed is low, accordingly we adjust the gear. If wind speed is high, again the gear ratio is changed so that we get better speed at the generator. Because if that much amount of speed is there, in that case only it will generate the power. Minimum speed we have to maintain. For a constant speed wind turbine, fixed gear ratio is set, whereas for variable wind speed turbine, two gear system is generally used. Overall efficiency may be obtained with the two speed gearbox. So it switches from low gear to high gear. It means in some of the system only one gear is sufficient, but in some systems where wind speed is continuously varying to a lot wide range, in that case two gear system is used. Okay. So this is about the transmission system and the gearbox. Now we'll see the various characteristics of a wind generator. Again, these characteristics are very interesting. So this is a output power, okay, turbine power in kilowatt versus shaft speed. So if we are getting better wind speed, we will get better power. Okay. So you can see here, this is 7 meter per second. We are getting comparatively less power. Okay. This blue line, red line 9 meter per second, then 11, then 12, 13 and 14. So say 14 meter per second, good wind speed we are getting, then definitely large power we will get. Okay. So this is the operating point where we get the maximum power. Okay. With this wind speed, we try to maintain this much amount of speed with the help of gear ratio arrangement. For example, with say this blue line of a graph, we try to maintain say 900 rpm at the shaft of a generator, so that it will constantly give us this much amount of power. Okay, this is possible by maintaining the speed. So irrespective of the wind speed, with the help of gearing ratio adjustment, we can get some constant speed with the adjustment in the gear ratio. So this black line indicates the operating point where we should operate the generator with corresponding value of a speed with application of a gear ratio. Okay, so maximum power is proportional to omega cube, where omega is the rotor speed. Okay, hence rotor speed needs to be higher for better power. So better the omega, better is the maximum power, and that's why we are using the gearing arrangement or gear ratio to adjust the speed, and we can get the better power. So this is power speed characteristics. The next is power coefficient versus the tip speed characteristics. So power coefficient is reflection of the power extraction. Better the power coefficient, better the power extraction. So power extracted from the wind can be maximized if Cp is maximized. Cp is the power coefficient. We already have seen in the definition. So better is the Cp, better is the power extraction. Okay. So this is TSR and this is power coefficient. Okay. So we are trying to maximize the power coefficient by adjustment in the TSR. So TSR is in our hand, we can design it accordingly. So TSR is 0, tip speed ratio is 0, 5 degree, 10 degree, 15 degree, 20 degree, 25 degree. Okay, this is a tip speed ratio actually. So here with this tip speed ratio, we are getting this much. So these are the corresponding characteristics with the angle as well. Okay. So this is power coefficient versus tip speed ratio. We want to maximize Cp. You understand that maximum is the value of Cp, maximum is the power extraction. But Cp we have to adjust in association with the TSR also. This is the indication of this graph. This is the torque speed characteristics. This is the speed and this is the torque. So it is inversely proportional. If speed is high, torque is less. If torque is less, speed is high. Okay. This is the characteristics of torque and speed for a two-blade horizontal axis wind turbine. So you can see here, gray line is the maximum speed 10 meter per second, which is on the top. So you can see the torque, okay, corresponding to the speed. Okay, and this is the speed torque characteristics. So torque speed is linear up to certain point, but generally operating point is somewhere here. So if torque is decreased, speed is increased in the operating zone. Okay, therefore it is in inverse proportion. So high speed turbines are used for power generation application and high torque are used in pumping application. So this is one of the important characteristics that we are interested to study. This is overall operation you can study. So I have drawn the characteristics between power and a wind speed. Exact values I have not given to you because I would like to explain here different zones of operation. So this is called as the cut in speed. So if speed is below this value, okay, wind speed is below this value, your turbine does not rotate. So this wind is of no use, which is a wind speed less than, say, considering both the horizontal and vertical axis wind turbine, it is less than 3 meter per second. So if the wind speed is less than 3 meter per second, your turbine is not going to generate any power. It is waste. Okay. But after say 3 meter per second or 4 meter per second, we can slowly start generating the power and your power generation starts. This is the first zone which I have shown here. So your as wind speed increases, power generation also increases. So it has a limit. So this is the limit on it. Okay. So second zone is actually the operating zone where we get the sufficient amount of power. Okay. Sufficient amount of power we can get in the zone 2. So this is the operating zone where we get the better speed, wind speed, and we can extract maximum amount of power. Now the third zone is again important zone where your wind speed is varying, but we are getting a constant power. So rather than operating your turbine here, we try to operate it in this zone with the help of gearing assembly definitely, so that even if there is a variation in the speed, with the help of gearing assembly, we can maintain the speed at the turbine output, which is given as a generator input, so that we will get constant amount of power, which is the rated power. This is the cutout. So cut in and cut out are the two important concepts. Cut in means where your turbine will start generating the power, and cut out where we have to stall the turbine, we have to purposely apply the brake. So this is done automatically through the controller. So we have at cutout we have to stop the turbine and stop generating the power, otherwise there are chances of breakage. Okay, there are chances of breakage of a turbine blades. Therefore purposely we stop it here. So this is what the cutout point. Okay, so today we will stop here, next time we'll continue. Okay.